My name is Faye Combs, and I want to just welcome all of you. And I really thank you for taking your shopping day to not go shopping and spend money over here with us, which is free today. So that's the best part of the day. But anyhow, I would my heart is just so big because um, I thought it was going to be like maybe 50 people. It got 50 more and 50 more, and then it got up to 200 people. And then I got, oh, where are we going from here? But we serve big, we look big, and we're all up and down the state. I appreciate every one of you taking time out today. We're going to talk about history, we're going to talk about the present, and we're going to see what our future looks like. I'm excited because Abigail, I started out with Abigail, and then I went to Amy, who's on, and then I went to Linda, who's on. I went with Jackie Brinkley, who's on. I went with Rosie Mandel, Rosie Mandel, Rosie, and all of these persons here have shaped me to be the leader that I believe that I have become, and my heart is open to you. I appreciate it. And what I want to do is to continue on that you have taught me, to pass that on. So that's why it's so exciting for me to be here today. I'm happy that my daughter's here. I'm happy to have family here. I have friends from across the United States that are here. And my sister Shy, my cousin Scott, and my cousin Tony. I don't want to call everybody, but don't hold it to me. And then I have church friends that are here. So I really appreciate it. I hope that you stay to the end because the speaker is so dynamic. And I'm going to tell you now, get you some Kleenex or a towel or whatever, because it's going to be really on because of her heart and what she's going to give to us. We have tried to put together, so we want to get partnership with the California Library. We partnership with them. We partnership with Key to Community, and we partnership with
the League of Women Voters.
Women Voters, very important. I've got a workshop after next week with that, but we want to kind of put it all together, and we thank all of you that are partners that have come to us. So now we will get started with our program. And again, I just love every last one of you for taking time. So I'm just going to say hey to all of you. And I want to thank all the coordinators and the tutors and the mothers and the daughters. So we're going to get started with our program. And I think that now I'm going to present Linda Sakamoto Junkie, who is my director at the program that I am affiliated with, Berkeley Reads. And she is going to do her part. And we have some dynamic people. We're ready to start our ask that you stand to the end because this was something big for me and my first time doing it on this big scale like this. So I just hope you don't let my work be in vain. Okay, thank you.
And I'll also briefly touch, I'll just briefly touch. Welcome to all of you, tutors, learners, coordinators from the California Library Literacy Services Network, of which we are a part of over 100 programs statewide, and all a big team here. Thank you. And then what Susan is referring to is we all got together, meaning the California Library Literacy Services coordinators and their learners, and with Susan as our trainer over there at the History Museum in Sacramento. And this is what you're seeing over there. Oh, I'm going with the slides here. Thank you. There's our state librarian, Greg Lucas, with a learner, and there's a Valerie coordinator in San Diego. And this is what you're seeing here. We're looking at all of the slides. So let me just go with, I'm doing like, I'm getting motion sickness. No, no, this is part, no, this is really beautifully capturing the photographs. We had, there's Diane, shout out to Diane. We had so many great learners coming on board, and this is part of our training. You can see what's going on in that beautiful history room there. And a shout out to Diane with Redlands and their team right there, and Tanya. I'm being reminded of, again, all the beautiful faces that we are seeing also here today on our call and on our Zoom. And we're also looking, I wanted to do a shout out to Sabrina Placentia Library, who's helping me and helping all of us on this Zoom call here. And here we go again. There's Sabrina. Hey, thank you for all the people who then took this back to their library and their community. This is at the museum again, the Votes for Women. Beautiful. Thank you very much. And then I did want to go quickly back to the You Are Beautiful visual imagery, because you all are beautiful. I remember taking this shot over when I was doing a car trip with the family up to Portland and Seattle. We see much real pain, but amidst all the pain, there is beauty. And beauty is what you all are. Beauty is all of us together. And it's such a pleasure to be on this call, on the Zoom for this.
The great thing about Key to Community is it's a team effort, and one of our team members' daughters did this video. So let me get the share going.
Key to Community. Creating a diverse group of leaders to impact the future of voters in California. When you look at the future, what do you see? Did you see hope, vision, community, a better tomorrow? Although the world around us is constantly changing, one thing remains the same. And that is our mission to serve, inform, empower, and grow the good in our community. We are Key to Community. To learn more about the leaders of the Key to Community project and our programs, please visit us at keytocommunity.org.
So let's all give Barbara a hand. She did that in large part as a gift to us, and we just feel really blessed. And if I could find her on the screen, Barbara and Connie are just an example of a mother-daughter pair that worked together to do voter workshops last March. So very, very exciting. They're up out of the Roseville
Library, and with Cambria. Thank you, Cambria,
yes,
as well.
Cambria's here. Yes. So Faye is going to, with all of that background, thank you so much. We are going to have Faye tell us what we're doing with the rest of our time together this afternoon.
For the agenda?
Here it is.
All right, Faye.
Well, we're right on schedule. We've had our welcome, and we're going to talk a little bit about the history of our voting. And then we're going to have this wonderful, wonderful lady who has, I mean, she just opened up her heart and said yes, and you'll hear about her, and then the Key to Community, and then where do we go next? And so we are in for a good ride, good afternoon. So sit back and enjoy the rest of it, because we're going to make a salad. I'll tell you about it later.
And I think before we dive in, Rasanya is going to give us the voting history piece. But well, we have a tradition with the Key to Community Project is we know that people have complicated lives and challenges. And again, it's that kind of season right now. And so even though a big focus of what we're talking about today is voting, we're not here to talk about politics. This is not a partisan discussion. We're here to talk about how we can come together and honor women's leadership. So whatever busyness you had to come through or whatever challenge right now, I invite you to take a moment, just breathe together. And so we can get into that place of really being open and being able to take in what's happening. And again, I sort of wistful that I'd had a little bit more time to polish up the logistics and the slides, but we think that the most important thing, I had the opportunity to give a talk at the beginning of the pandemic before things got even more tricky with the wisdom of a longtime Indigenous leader, Angela Arian. And her commentary is the way of the healer is to pay attention to what has heart and meaning. So as we go through today, I would ask you to, not worry about the actual nature of the problems that we want to challenge or the specifics on the surface, but really sink into that heart space so we can breathe together and listen to each other. It's a unique opportunity to listen to the history, to listen to Betty Reid Soskin, and to meet all of these wonderful new people that Faye and everybody else has invited. So we are going to now have Rasanya, who's one of the key leaders on this project, talk us through her short take on the women's the significant milestone that we are looking at.
Thank you, Rasanya.
You are welcome, and I know there's plenty of educators and English teachers on this call, so forgive me because I'm getting ready to chop this. What is suffrage? The right to vote in an election. And so we waiting on the next slide. I would be going through the amendments. And amendment is a contract. A contract, these particular ones are the contract with the government. In 1884, the first Women's Rights Convention happened. 1861 to 1865, the Civil War. 1865, the 13th Amendment abolished slavery. 1870 to the 15th Amendment was passed, granting the right to vote to men who had been slave or people of color. Then 1920, the 19th Amendment passed, granted women the right to vote. If you look at this, you can see abolished slavery and granted women to right, but that did not include all women. So as we moving forward, let's think about the laws were on the books, but does not mean it was activated in the community, right? So then the next slide. More on the voting history. 1964, I actually was born during that time. Outlaw poll taxes. So although people had the right to vote, they had poll taxes to stop people from voting. 1965, Voting Rights Act, outlaw literacy tests. Now, again, although people, especially people that were enslaved, had the right to vote, we know people really wasn't reading that. Some people was, but others wasn't. So although people had the right to vote, but they still had roadblocks in the way. So I want you to think as we move through the event today, think about, there's things that the law has on the books, but that doesn't mean that it's happening in real life. 1971, the 26th Amendment was passed. Lower voting age to 18. Now, I know for a fact I had worked since the age of 13, but I didn't have a right to vote. So there was a lot of laws that had been passed, but it wasn't in real life. So as we go through today, just think about this, that there's a lot of things that's in the law, but it's not really happening in the lives of people. I'm gonna hand this back over to Susan.
Thank you. Thank you,
Rasanya.
Well, Abigail Sims Evelyn is the director at LEAP's Literacy Program in Richmond, California. And she comes from a family of educators, and she has a big heart. Her family's and they really have the heart of people with low literacy skills, and they really bring those low literacy skills up to be good, to where people can make and be good leaders. So it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to some and present to others my dear friend, Abigail Sims Evelyn.
Woo!
Woo! Thank you so much, Faye. Faye is such a light, and she is one who allows us to see so that we know what direction we're going in, and that's crucial. So when I think about my friendship with Faye, which began in the world of literacy, what I understand is that I don't know I don't even know how to distinguish the beginning or the middle or the end, because our love born out of literacy and our involvement and our desire for it is continuous. And it's just amazing to see her continuing to show the light so that we can know where we're placing our steps and how we can move forward. My name is Abigail, as Faye said. No, I've been in the California services for really about 6 years. So I've kind of grown up in the system. I need to wrap my mind around what it takes for us to improve ourselves, and then wrap my mind around what it takes for us to dare to move forward. It is a challenge, but what I have been exposed to is a lot of positive change. And I've been exposed to the idea that we can be ordinary and achieve extraordinary things. And I'm excited about that because I feel that I don't have to have a lot of special bells or whistles. All I have to have is a desire for change. And I can realize myself as the solution as opposed to the problem. And certainly I have grown up with people around me to help me realize that. And today I have the honor and the privilege, a pleasure, to introduce one of those persons that showed us through her actions and by the way that she involved herself in the community around us, that we, all of us, deserve an opportunity for the best that this society has to offer. And as I'm thinking about that, I have to say that I so love the theme, look back to look forward. Some people are afraid to look back because it has been so many tumultuous things that have occurred when we look back that we don't want to see anymore. But in order for us to know where to go forward, we have to look back and we have to examine it. And we have to take the good from it, and then we have to figure out what we need to stop, okay? And so then when I look back, of course, I think of my ancestors and I realize that they were powerful women, so many of them. I think about my mama and my grandmas, all of those beautiful women that did great things. And they assumed the roles of builders. We see buildings being constructed all the time now. We're amazed by the scaffolding that goes around it. All of the people who are working almost like busy ants, and they have their roles and they honor their roles. We have a history of seeing women do this, stepping into the plan, even in spite of the greatest types of calamities, and realizing their roles as builders, as leaders, as constructors of a foundation that we now stand on today. And as we stand on this foundation that they in fact built, this foundation, which is really like their shoulders that we're standing on, what we're able to do is to continue to try to empower people to realize their voice so that they can pursue change. I want to see a world, and I'm certainly feeling like I see that world now, of people after 100 years of all of what we've done as women, realizing that we have a voice and we can actually promote change. And we don't have to look to dead heroes to do it, but that we can look at ourselves right in the mirror and practice our roles. We can look at the people around us who have done incredible things. And today that's what we're going to get a chance to do. I want to talk a little bit just about standing on the shoulders of our ancestors, because that to me is so incredible. I believe that I'm standing on the shoulders of my mama, because my mother was such a force. She was the mother of 16 babies, 12 of us today, which are living. She was the person that would march us in a row down to our local elementary school, so that at this early stages of our education, and to tell us that even if we wore the same outfit every day when we went to school, but be proud and go there and get what you needed to get. So I think, I have a life and a history of all of these strong women that helped us not to just think of ourselves, but to think of all of us and think of what we had to do our part to make a difference. And so when we think about standing on those shoulders, really, and the shoulders, of course, are the solid foundation. We think about the idea that we have an opportunity today, all women in every community, all around us. We have an opportunity to pick up the mantle wherever anyone before us set it down for us to pick up. And we have an opportunity to continue to be on the path for greatness, for change, for hope, for opportunity. And we have an opportunity to walk in rhythm, a journey that is traveled by the faithful. I am so excited about that idea because I am faithful to the idea that things will be better for us. We have recently had experiences in our history, just in the history of the last couple of years, where women were not praised, but that we were seen and demonized and treated as if we were less than who we are. So it is our responsibility to stand up and fight for change and to acknowledge 100 years of trying to, realize our role as women. Yeah. And I understand that this is so important and that we don't have to, again, I say, look only to our ancestors who have passed on, but we today get to look at legendary people right in front of us now who are continuing to do their service for change. And that brings me to the wonderful name that I'm about to say, Betty Reid Soskin. She is going to grace us today with a wonderful image or a clip from history, from her recent history, so that we can tell through her story how things happened and what we must do today to continue our efforts. As Susan stated, this is a nonpartisan discussion. This is a discussion about how we as a people hold on to our humanity, our humility, our desire to do our part. And everybody in this world, in this universe, has the opportunity to do it, and many people will realize that opportunity. While the people who walk on the path for change and hope and acceptance and understanding and more accomplish extraordinary things, they themselves are ordinary people. So they may accomplish extraordinary things, but they themselves are ordinary people. All of us from every walk of life benefit from their work, dedication, and unstoppable commitment. As you see here, the beautiful picture of Miss Betty Reid Soskin, she is one of those persons who has given tirelessly to our community, and we respect her so much because her support in the community has had a great impact. Legendary status is something that ordinary people can easily embrace, and today we pay homage to the great contributions of Miss Betty Reid Soskin. She is one who has a story to tell about her life contributions and how they impacted us all. And so now we're going to move into a discussion by her, and she's going to talk to us about her beautiful novel that she's written, sharing some of her life experiences. She'll hopefully be, reading from some important passages in her book. And I just want to put in a plug that if it's not on your bookshelf, it's something that you really need to make happen soon. And so I want to give the way now for Ms. Soskin to please move forward with her great ideas, and I am going to completely enjoy it. Susan, I thank you for this opportunity. It was such a pleasure to be able to introduce Ms. Soskin, one whom I completely admire. And Faye, I thank you. And I also thank Rasanya for both of their parts. This is just absolutely phenomenal. And it is the reason why, I find that I have to continue, even when I get tired some days, I'm gonna keep on working it. Okay, Betty, take it away. Thank you, Susan.
Great. Also want to acknowledge Betty's daughter, Deara Reid. You're been a wonderful team.
I just want to say that Mother suffered a stroke last year on September 5th, so she's still recovering. So please be patient. The wheels turn a little bit slower, but they do work.
Thank you. I was privileged to have actually known my slave ancestor, Leontine Bro Allen. I first got to meet her during a visit to New Orleans when I was about 16. She was born into slavery in 1846 and died in 1948 at the age of 102. I was a 27-year-old married woman and mother of two when she died 3 years after the end of World War II. My mother, who was born in the year 1894, lived to be 101. Miscegenation clearly does not befoul the gene pool. My mother's younger sister, Vivian Allen Jernigan, adored her grandmother. Vivian told stories of slavery days, of Mama and Mama's mother, Celestine, cooking in the kitchen of their plantation owner, Edward Grove, and walking down the fields 3 times a day, bringing meals to the field hands. Vivian also loved to tell about how years later, when she, Vivian, was a small child, once the chores were completed in the fields, and at the end of the day, Mama would sink into her living room rocking chair, and with an ever so slight motion with her hand, would send me to the secret place beside the fireplace to bring back a little corncob pipe and tobacco pouch from behind the loose brick. She made me feel as if this was a secret shared between us. Aunt Vivian would continue. She would then send me to bed while she remained seated, silently drawing on her pipe until the house of many people would settle down for the night. It was only then that she would climb under the mosquito netting of the big bed until the first morning light. By far, the most intriguing story about my mother's grandmother had to do with the critical role she played in her little community in St. James Parish, Louisiana. Mama was the town medical assistant serving as intern for Dr. Heidel, the circuit rider doctor who came through on horseback about every 3 months to provide what medical services there were for the people of the parish. Mama also served as a town's midwife and delivered not only the babies of the family women, but also the babies of most of the women in their village. I suspect that this would have been for African American women only, though I'm not sure about this at all. During the few days before the doctor's visit, it was she who rode her horse through St. James Parish, calling on all those who might need medical attention. The routine was that she'd place a white towel on the gatepost of each home where they were needed, and this determined just where the doctor would stop. He would confer with Mama on occasion on patients' aftercare, and she was accountable for their health issues until his return months later. Those stories made her one of my favorite heroes early in life and during the 1995 honoring ceremonies, when I was named one of 10 outstanding women by the National Women's History Project. I had cause to wonder. One never feels worthy, I suppose. But I came to terms with the proceedings upon realizing that I spent my whole life never seeking public office or acclaim, though surely I was courted from time to time, but instead, I've been completely satisfied to find fulfillment in draping symbolic white shells over imaginary gateposts anywhere help might be needed, to not only my community, but also as a field representative for California's 14th Assembly District in later life, and now in my role with the National Park Service. It is Ma's work that provides shape and form to mine to this day, and she is cited in my commentaries at the twice weekly theater presentations at the Rosie the Riveter National Park, and with great pride and humility. She and I are players in the great American narrative, as are so many extraordinary, ordinary women. Thank you.
Oh, that was extraordinary. Abigail, I think you're going to ask Betty a question. Gonna unmute.
I am really into talking about themes because I do that so much with our students. And it's like, what was the theme? And I was thinking to myself, God, the theme of continuing to notify the community when someone needs help and trying to find out how they can get that help is phenomenal. And when one's life is that way, that's truly beautiful. That you could be the white towel that notifies others that there is a need for help. I thank you for that. And so as a part of it though, I know that your journey has led you to many places in trying to identify the needs. But one of the places that we just so want to hear about is when you had an opportunity to meet Barack Obama. So could you please share with us what that experience was like from the perspective of an African-American woman who finally saw and had an opportunity to see such a pivotal shift in our society in the United States. Betty, take it away.
Thank you. I only realized today, I think, that this story is not in my book. Maybe it is, but I tried to look back and I don't understand why it wouldn't have been. It had happened. I was invited, I think it was 3 years ago, to participate in the tree lighting, the national tree lighting ceremonies for the National Park Service. And that meant going to Washington. That meant meeting the Obamas. That meant things I couldn't really allow myself to believe were going to happen, but which did. That evening, I found myself in a little tent beside the big tent where the entertainers were gathered for the show that was to be played before
National audience.
I can't remember.
A national audience.
Oh,
PBS.
for a national audience, yes. I sat there, and in this room, it was absolutely empty, except for the Secret Service that came through. It swept. I suppose they sweep every place before the president enters it. But I heard one of the agents say to another agent, "That's Betty," which meant that they knew who I was, and that was really important. After a while, it was only a short time, there appeared on one side of this small 8x8 tent the president and his lady. They were absolutely gorgeous, and they made me feel as if I were just, I don't know how I felt, but I came to meet him, and he put out his hand, and over his hand, he laid mine. And in his hand, he had this coin. There. Can you see it? It's a coin that sits of the presidential seal. And I knew that that was a secret between the two of us, and that nobody else in the world knew what that was. So it was powerful because it was secret. I put it back into my purse. I was carrying a small evening bag that my great-grandmother, at least my great-aunt Vivian, had given to her, had given to Vivian when Vivian was graduating from college. Vivian had given it to me, and I had given it to my great-granddaughter. And in the bag was a string of pearls that had carried me to Mississippi during the civil rights movement. And the three of them were objects, including the picture of my great-grandmother, were all in the bag. As I went up onto the stage, a few minutes later, to meet with the president, I was carrying the bag in the shadow of the Lincoln, no, not the Lincoln Memorial, of the White House, which had been built by slaves. And here we were, the president and me, standing in front of an audience of thousands in this exchange that would span time from my great-grandmother through my life. I've since come home, and that little cave, that has come with me and will be with me until I'm gone. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Betty and Diarra. And I have, and Faye for having the inspiration to make this connection. Here is Betty with the Obamas. Here is the coin. And I'm just going to give another plug. I have been reading this book. By the way, you'll find Betty on Spotify. She's got more stories. She's got a documentary. She's got a blog that I find fascinating, and her life lessons, I think, work for so many of us. And so with this inspiration and all of the rich perspective on voting rights history, and then of course a rich life history, and as Abigail talked about, the power of extraordinary women, we thought what we would do now is give you an opportunity to meet the extraordinary women on the call. And so, as we said, Faye and Linda and the library literacy programs, and then our Betty's Facebook list, we've just got this amazing mix of people. So we thought what we do now is just take about 10 minutes, and Faye's going to explain the breakout groups in a second. And the question we thought you might enjoy talking about is, who are the extraordinary women in your life? They might be past, they might be present. And if you only have 10 minutes, we're going to put you in a group of about 4 people. So take 1 minute each and share who is this extraordinary woman and how does she inspire you. And then after you've each taken a turn, just talk about what's coming up. There might be similarities, there might be differences. And as you do the conversation, again, this is our time together to pause, reflect, and connect. So we're not debating, we're just listening to learn from each other, not to persuade. And when you listen, let the person tell their full piece without jumping in. And then when it's your turn, speak from your own experience about this extraordinary woman. And of course, as you can see, everybody here is amazing. So of course you want to treat each other with respect. So Faye, what else would you like to tell folks before we go into our breakout rooms?
I personally, again, want to thank Miss Betty and De'Ara for the opportunity that we have had. You could not have gone shopping today and got what you got, your money's worth today and more to you. She gave it with love. And if you didn't have any tears, I don't think you have any feelings, but she brought it down, and we really appreciate her, and we pray that she will continue to have good health and get to that 99 and get to that 100 and keep the story going. With her disability, it just gives us more power to continue to work beyond. Don't slow down. Don't let that be your hindrance. And so again, Miss Betty, we thank you, and we really appreciate you and your family being with us. So what we're going to do now, we're going to make a salad. And you know how you make a salad? Everybody, you put a little of this and a little of that. So these persons that you will be hearing from now on, we all come from different backgrounds, but yet and still, we all have something to put in the salad. And then by the end of this program, then we're going to get ready to eat on this salad in September. So right now, we're going to go to classes.
I just wanted to say, Betty, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Audrey Allen's daughter, oldest daughter. So Betty is actually my cousin, and the stories that I remember are a little more personal because Betty had the party house of the party house. Walnut Creek, California, one of the first African American families to live in Walnut Creek. We went there every year for family reunions, and all the older cousins danced, and all of us young ones had to stay in the swimming pool. We had to, the big kids pushed us out into the backyard. But it was an incredible house. I mean, beautiful swimming pool and orchards with
thank you.
And so much fun. And just, I want to say to you, Betty, I don't know if I can say it without getting choked up. You are an inspiration, not only to women in our family, but to women and people all over America. You have always been so knowledgeable, always been so involved in your community, always fought for injustice for everyone, for people of color, for people who are just, those have been forgotten about. And you've been at the top of your game since day one. And I have never seen a fighter like you in my life. I mean, the things you have done are just beyond incredible. And I know my mom and Elaine and all of our aunts and uncles and cousins who are not here anymore are just rolling over into the graveyards saying, I cannot believe this lady is still doing all these amazing things. So I just want to thank you for everything that you have done for everyone, that you continue to do as an inspirational person, as a mother, a daughter, a cousin. Just thank you so much. And I am just in awe of you, and I have been for some time. You are an incredible person and such an intelligent woman. And just people are awestruck to hear you speak. And that's just an amazing gift. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And may we assume that you're going to help us plan the birthday party, right? So please put your name in the chat or chat me. I also am respectful that we've got about 15 minutes left in the allotted time, and we have some amazing additional things to share. People have been working hours on 2 videos here. So we would love to know that this isn't your only time to enjoy Betty. She's offered to come back. So let's take all of the excitement about what else we want to say to her, with her, and how she's inspired us. And I think what we want to do now is Faye's going to introduce Tanya, and Tanya's going to introduce our one of our 2 new videos coming up.
Tanya is from Redlands, and she is one of the student coordinators on staff there. And so she's a very, very busy woman, just like we are, but we're going to introduce her and have her do her part. This is part of that salad we're making. We're all putting a little bit of something to it.
Good afternoon, Faye, and good afternoon to all. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a beautiful, inspirational conversation, and I'm so honored this afternoon to be able to be a part of this. And Betty, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. It gives me the opportunity to reflect on 100 years of our advancement. And I'm so honored to share this new video that we've put together as women and as leaders. Please help me welcome, and I hope that everybody enjoys the new video that we have this afternoon for everybody.
The Keto Community Project is very, very important, and I say that because from experience, just growing up in a household where my parents, immigrated to this country, and they didn't really know anything about how the system works, so they didn't talk to us growing up. So I think it's important to be able to have organizations and projects like the Keto Community to, have the information and be able to educate people on exactly what the voting process is, what are they voting on, and what difference it's going to make in their community. I think that this time around that there's just a lot of chaos going around. We're living through a pandemic right now. We're starting to see a lot of the, social and racial inequities that exist in the system, and people feeling, all sorts of emotions about it. There's a way to really, have an influence on the outcome. There's this quote that says the decisions are made by those that show up, and I believe it's so true. Showing up in many ways, like voting is one huge way.
I was young in my marriage, and I got married in '62. When I got married, my husband did not know that I could not read or write. And then when the election time came, I did not know how to read the ballots. I didn't understand the ballots. I didn't even know where to sign my name or what it meant. And that was the first time that I ever voted in a national election. At that time, whatever he said was what he felt that was best for us as a family that would work for us. So just show me where to sign, and that's what I did. But I mean, I have struggled, and it wasn't until my 40s that I came out to get some help. I'm proud to be where I am, and the key of community, to have people around me that has helped me to be able to be a learner, and then to be a leader and a mentor into the voting process that we go through now is very important to me. The times that we're living in right now is very hard. It's very difficult. We still have a part that we have to play. And our part is, whether you like or dislike, it's important that you understand what you're voting for so that you can vote.
Años que sentía yo esa necesidad de hacerlo, porque creo que viviendo y compartiendo en este país necesitamos ser parte de los votos y de apoyar a nuestro presidente.
On the day of her citizenship, she became a United States citizen, that she arrived home, and all of our brothers and my siblings and I were waiting for her here at home. And the moment she came in, I helped her fill out her form for voting, and she filled out her form, and she filled out her registry. On the primaries, when they came in, she couldn't wait to be able to be part of that.
Tanto que no pude controlar las lágrimas.
She was so excited that she couldn't hold back her tears.
I wanted to bring my daughters along. I really think it's important to really just, you know, not only talk about what you want your kids to know and learn, but, you know, actually show them and involve them in the process. And so it just becomes first nature to them as they get older. You know, my kids even, they all got like the I voted stickers, that they were, you know, like showing it off and like taking pictures, and like, you know, they just, even my kids felt super proud about it, you know. And so it just made me feel really proud of myself as well, of what I'm teaching.
So we'd love to, shall we give a hand to Charlie, who is the 19-year-old student who made that video for us. And let us, Charlie, you're getting the virtual love, and let's find Charlie. We still got a lot to do, but we thought Charlie, as a filmmaker, would want to share what it was like to listen to and learn from these amazing women. Charlie, are you here?
Hi, Susan. Thank you.
Hi, Charlie.
Hi, Faye. Yeah, I don't know. I feel really honored to be here, and during this time of isolation, to be making connections, even just as like a document, to document it with such inspiring women whose stories you don't always necessarily see as big, vital stories, but they are, and they're deeply inspiring to me. Especially, like, you know, my generation has a lot of cynicism around voting and this country and what has made up this country, but kind of reminding myself through hearing all of your stories, Faye, Alma, Monica, Betty, you know, of really that strength and that determination, which, you know, having faith in women like you guys is kind of the only way for me to be a patriot, because often I can lose faith. So it was an honor to create this video and hear from you all and be reminded of what people in this country can really be and how beautiful their hearts can be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Charlie. It's just been a pleasure working with you. And Charlie's going to help keep editing. We have more footage. And if you go to keytocommunity.org, you will see a video she made of Rasanya. We just have a lot of great material, and we want to get it out and have other people, you know, do this wonderful mix across generations and backgrounds. So another hand to Charlie. And Faye, I think what our next step was just going to be, Linda was going to, we've got so many things we do with the Key to Community Project. And when you come back to the September 22nd party, we work with the League of Women Voters on easy voter guides. We did this, basically we have doubled voting turnout among the people, you know, least expected to vote. And rather than tell you the secrets why, just come back. But we're going to be sending information next week. But in the meantime, I think Linda was going to just share a thought that it isn't even so much what we're doing in Key to Community, it's how we're doing it.
Did she go?
Hi, I'm here. I'm just listening and looking. Thank you so much. This is just a right-on reflection of community, Key to Community. It's all of us together. California Library Literacy Services, coordinators, tutors, learners, all of you out there joining with us, our patronage, everyone in the community, we are all together. And it, literally, the word is intertwining. And here's a beautiful Alma with the grow the good in your community. That was the power of her voice, bringing this to our table as we are on a working team together for Key to Community. And Faye's wonderful, the power of all your words. Faye, we are all learners. We are all teachers. We all learn from each other. And I can't say any more than that. And
through Linda at Berkeley Reads has been where so many of the learner leaders have come, and now the project spread across the state. So we're going to have a super quick commentary from Alma, who was actually the copywriter our theme about grow the good in the community. So Alma, what does grow the good in your community mean to you?
To grow the good in the community, it's for all community members that need to come together and work together to help each other to make a change within our communities. It's not leaving each other's side, but staying together, standing strong, and believing each other and helping each other, especially in these times of need.
Thank you, Alma. Thank you. And we have 2 more surprises. So I'm going to, is Val Hardy still on? She is the coordinator from San Diego. Those of you who don't know library people, you may think that they're calm and mild-mannered, but Val is lead singer of a band called the Resistors. So we're going to play a video of Val's band Resistors, 2 slides that my daughter Katie put together, bless you, and we're going to do that, and then we're going to just come back and look at the next steps. So are we ready for this, people?
Yes, go Val.
This is Val Hardy, right here at the mic, in the blue. Okay.
Freedom Highway, marching each and every day, marching the Freedom Highway, marching each and every day. Made up my mind, and I won't turn around. Made up my mind, and I won't turn around. There is just one thing I can't understand, my friends. Why some folk think freedom was not designed for all men. There are so many people living their lives perplexed, wondering in their minds what's gonna happen next. Marching the Freedom Highway, marching each and every day. Freedom Highway, marching each and every day.
All right, is your energy as good as mine after that? We have all of this talent coming together. Faye had this idea, we jumped on it. We didn't have a lot of time, we didn't have any budget, and then everybody was just throwing in their talent, their love, and I think it's really moving. And so we hope that it can continue. We have a next step slide, but we also have a graphic artist, Julie Giesecke, an extraordinarily talented person. And Julie, I'm not quite certain how we're gonna get the visual. Okay, you've started screen sharing. There she is. So can you see the beautiful picture that Julie has made for all of us about the event, the white towels? Julie, did you want to take 20 seconds to give your thoughts on this?
Nope, just this was done live while we were on the call, just so you know, and tried to capture a little bit of what was shared today. I'm really appreciative to be a part of the experience and walking away very inspired. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome, Julie. Thank you. That's so cool.
So you can see there's a lot more that we haven't even touched on of Julie's artwork here. Great, well, it'll be there. So just a reminder, we're seeing in the chat, we've got people who are going to help us with this party. We're going to send out a follow-up survey. Please go check your voter registration. Even if you think you've registered, it matters. It's got to match the name that you plan to sign with. If you've had home dislocation during the pandemic, it doesn't matter. There are ways, if your address is moving, you can still register to vote. So, Faye, any final thoughts for these amazing women?
I would just like to say again, I thank you and I appreciate you. I want to share something that comes from my heart. I don't offend anybody, but I just want to share this with you. And again, I thank you. Peace always follows forgiveness, grace, and mercy. And Jesus is the promise that makes us prosper. So we're going to prosper and go from here. Thank you, and come on September 22nd so that we can start that salad lunch. Miss Betty, thank you, thank you, thank you. God.
So let's I'm unmuting everybody, and let's just wave just a final thank you. That was extraordinary. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Grow the
Thank
good.
you, flowers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Betty.
Thank you for the flowers.
Thank you so much.